Yo, step backs and touchdowns. Let's get straight to it, man. Last night, April 20th, Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia finally stepped into the ring. And before we get into this fight, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody once again on the Tank Haney fight, man. We're trying to get that video to 10K, man. I'm glad to see that you guys like that video. Make sure you guys check out all the NBA podcasts as well as NBA playoffs are ramping up. But yeah, make sure you guys check that out. But let's get into the fight, man. April 20th, the fight went down. I'm going to get my thoughts on it. Before I get my thoughts on the fight, though, I want to talk about the weigh-ins and everything before that, man. So, Ryan Garcia weighed in 3 pounds overweight. And Devin Haney weighed in at exactly 140 pounds. That right there was a big tell because before the fight, everybody said that Ryan Garcia was not going to be able to make weight, right? His last fight against Oscar Duarte in December, he did not make weight. He came in 3 pounds over. This fight, he comes in 3 pounds over. They have to rewrite the contract right then and there. Two things here. One, that is very unprofessional. If you know you're not going to make 140, don't make a fight at 140. If you're going to fight, go fight at 147 if you're not going to be able to make that weight. But the true champion that Devin Haney is, hey, we're going to fight, man. We're going to fight. You can be 143. We'll make the fight at 143. A catch weight. We both gonna rehydrate. None of this rehydration clause stuff. We're both gonna rehydrate. We're both gonna be big in the ring. And you can tell Ryan Garcia was bigger than Devin Haney in that ring. But yeah, so Ryan Garcia, with all the antics coming in, people thought he wasn't mentally stable. But Ryan Garcia, man, Ryan Garcia is unhinged. In a similar way to that Teofimo Lopez is, man. They're gonna do all the antics, but when it comes fight night, man, they still have the skills and power to give anybody a compelling fight. Now, going into the fight, I didn't give my predictions on the fight, but my predictions were Devin Haney was gonna win by UD, unanimous decision. Everybody was saying that Devin Haney was going to win by DQ or he was going to knock Ryan Garcia out because Devin Haney was the overwhelming favorite for this fight. But I was a firm believer that at 135 Devin didn't have power. At 140 Devin did knock out Regis Prograis. He caught him with a timing shot, no power. So I was under the impression that he wasn't going to be able to knock out Ryan Garcia either. Now, I did think he was going to win it. I did think it was going to be a 10-2 type fight. 10-2, 9-3. I thought it was going to be a dominant UD. But that was ultimately not the case last night. Now, last night, round one, early, 30 seconds into the fight, Ryan Garcia catches Devin Haney, boom, with a nice shot. Devin Haney was wobbled, bounced off the ropes. Like, hey, now let's slow down here. Ryan Garcia took control of that first round. But rounds 2 through 5, Devin Haney bounced back. He was jabbing. He even caught Ryan Garcia in the third round with a hook of his own. He stumbled Ryan Garcia. But Ryan Garcia through those rounds, he was calculating data. It seemed like he was feinting. And he was seeing how Devin Haney reacts when he feints, how he exits, where he exits. And a lot of the fight, especially when Devin Haney started to hold and try to exit down low, Ryan Garcia punches down. And a lot of fighters nowadays, they don't punch down. The only fighters that really punch down are guys like Tank Davis. Tank Davis is a good guy. He knows how to punch down when guys are exiting and holding, and he can get a knockout that way. But Ryan Garcia was punching down, and that really impressed me last night. Terrence Crawford is also one that can punch down. But rounds 2 through 5, I had Devin Haney winning. I thought he was jabbing, he was landing to the body, and I felt like there was really no game plan for Haney. Haney didn't really have a game plan coming in there. Ryan Garcia had a game plan. He was calculating his data, and he saw that Devin Haney drops that right hand, and this left hook is coming every time because Devin Haney, he has to keep that left hand low because he's jabbing with that left hand, and that right hand never stays attached to his chin. That right hand is always down there. I'm going to show you these knockouts or these knockdowns. Devin Haney's right hand is down every knockdown. That right hand is nowhere near his chin. That right hand is down. Now 2 through 5, I had Haney winning. Round 6, I gave to Ryan Garcia, and in the 7th round, the knockdown happened, and you can see Devin Haney scrambling. He just went in a survival mode. He's never been in a situation like that where he had to survive, and then Ryan Garcia hit on the break, and it cost a point deduction. Now, there was a lot of talk about Harvey Dock last night. Me personally, I agree with the point deduction, because for the simple fact that this fight was gonna get heated. We knew that. Coming in with all the antics, if you don't deduct a point from that right there from Ryan Garcia, we don't know what happens next. If Ryan Garcia gets a warning, he could potentially do that again, and something can seriously happen to Devin Haney. So I agree with the point deduction. You got to take that point right then and there in the heat of the moment. Now, it did allow Devin Haney some time to recover, which I feel bad for Ryan Garcia right there, because Ryan Garcia could have ended that fight if he didn't give him time. But you can't hit on the break, man. That was a clean shot on the break. You can't do that. And now, round 8, I feel like Devin Haney recovered well enough to win round 8 and 9, but I believe he wins these rounds because Ryan Garcia simply just didn't engage enough in round 8 and round 9. I don't think Haney was doing anything impressive in round 8 and 9. I just think Ryan Garcia wasn't engaging, and in round 10 and 11, man, he got knocked down, man. So those are 10-8 rounds. And in round 12, I gave it to Haney because Ryan Garcia, he tried to showboat, and he thought he ultimately won that fight already. So I get that to Devin Haney. So I had this fight as a draw, man. I really did. I really had this fight as a draw, and a lot of people online are, with the draw, they're saying Ryan Garcia was raw, and I don't see that, man. If you had Ryan Garcia winning the fight, ultimately, in no way, shape, or form did I think Devin Haney won this fight. No way, shape, or form. I feel like if he doesn't get knocked down one more time, I feel like this is Devin Haney's fight to win. If Ryan Garcia didn't get a point deducted in round 7, this is Ryan Garcia's fight easily for me. So, the narrative that Devin Haney, or not Devin Haney, that Ryan Garcia was going to get robbed with that draw is blasphemous to me, because I feel like Devin Haney was winning the rounds that Ryan Garcia did not knock him down, except for round 1 and round 6. So, I want to say a couple things. I want to talk about each fighter really quick. Let's talk about Devin Haney, the loser. Now, if you guys know me for a long time, my two fighters, the two guys that I ride hard for, is Devin Haney and Shakur Stevenson. Those are my two fighters that I feel like, anytime they fight, I'm gonna go harder for those two over any other fighter, right? And I'm gonna root for them against Tank Davis, against Teofimo Lopez, against Vasily Lomachenko, against Ryan Garcia. I'm gonna go for him, right? And I always thought Shakur was the more talented of the two, but Devin Haney, I love the squeeze science. I love, fighting on the back foot. I love guys that fight on the back foot, that can stick and move, that use their jab, that go to the body, that have defense, right? But Devin Haney, the question with Devin Haney has always been, what's he gonna do when he gets hit? It's the same thing with Shakur, but even more with Haney, because we've seen Devin Haney get hit by lesser guys that didn't have power. Against Jorge Linares, Jojo Diaz, Vasily Lomachenko, he's getting clipped, and he's showing weakness, but he's not fighting a guy with power. And then when he fights Regis Prograis has power, but Regis Prograis isn't as talented as any of these upper echelon guys. And Devin Haney made Regis Prograis look like cake, but Devin Haney steps in there against Ryan Garcia, because the next thing was young and powerful. Ryan Garcia clips Devin Haney in the first round, and it's looking like, hey, he could potentially go down if we do this again. And we saw what happened, man. Ryan Garcia took advantage of that, man. Ryan Garcia, that left hook was money all night long. That was an interesting fight. It was a very good fight too, man. Say what you want, man. This was a great fight. Props to Ryan Garcia for promoting the fight, selling the fight. Props to Devin Haney. for coming in there and battling, even though Ryan showed up overweight. But yeah, so with Devin Haney, I feel like there's some things, you got to look at. He's 25 years old. One loss isn't going to determine his career. If you look at all the greats, if your favorite fighter isn't Floyd Mayweather or Andre Ward or Rocky Marciano, your fighter is taking an L, and it's okay to lose. And nowadays in this era, if you lose a fight, your stock goes down, and I don't get it. Ryan Garcia has a loss. He was at a disadvantage that fight, but he has a loss. Now that Devin Haney has a loss, his stock isn't gonna go down, man. He can continue to make these fights. He just has to learn from this. He's 25 years old. He's not even in the prime of his career. When he gets, to 147 to 154, because I feel like he ultimately is gonna move up to that high eventually. Where he has an opportunity to make an even bigger name for himself with bigger fights. And ultimately, he can get a Ryan Garcia rematch at a 147 and win that. And then we're going to a trilogy. Now, we got to work on something with Bill Haney. We got to work on his defense, man. We got to keep them hands up, man. When we're jabbing, that he leaves himself open every night with that jab. It's just he hasn't fought a guy as skilled as Ryan Garcia, man. He just hasn't. Vasily Lomachenko was skillful, man, but he didn't have the power at 135. We know Lomachenko has power at 130, but at 135, Lomachenko don't got the power to finish Devin Haney. And so, I think this was a lesson for Devin Haney. I feel as if Devin Haney, there's two options here. You can stay at 140. You can get you a tune-up fight and go after Pitbull or Teofimo Lopez, or you can go to 147 and get you a tune-up fight and then go after Jerron Boots Ennis or the 147 belts. They're held by Crawford right now, so you can challenge for a 147 belt because Terrence Crawford is moving to 154. So you have options if you're Devin Haney, man. I just hope he does what's best for him, and I hope that he doesn't get caught up in the media and he puts his head in the ground and he just continues to work, man. Ultimately, this is not an all be all for Devin Haney. So yeah, I just hope he continues to to work and rebuild that name, man. Because people are gonna tune into Devin Haney fights because they were waiting to see that loss, and now that he's lost, they're gonna want to see it again. But that's all I gotta say for Devin Haney. Now, as far as Ryan Garcia, the ultimate respect, the ultimate props to Ryan Garcia. He came in there. He handled business, establishing his dominance in round one, and then ultimately taking control in the middle rounds, and then towards the end, that left hook was money. He was fainting. He felt like the more skilled. I feel like Devin Haney is more skilled, but Ryan Garcia was the most skillful man that night. His skills was on display. It wasn't just power. It was skills. It was footwork. It was speed. It was everything. He looked like the complete boxer last night. Now the shoulder roll, we got to talk about that shoulder roll. When he does the shoulder roll, he just turns his back. Devin Haney, all this exposes his part of his body, his back. You can hit that. If you're turning your back to me, you something's got to get hit. We can't just stop action because you want to turn your back to me in a shoulder roll that you don't know how to do. So we gotta fix that. But Ryan Garcia, other than that, man, the feints, man, I'm amazed by the counter punching. Every time that jab flew in, it was a counter coming. It was beautiful. I hate to see my guy go down to the canvas 3 times, but man, Ryan Garcia looked amazing last night. And what's next for him? He said he can't make 140, so he shouldn't have fought at 140 in my opinion. But 147, he said he wants to go to 154 and fight Fundora. Me personally, I don't think Fundora's the best fighter, but he has the belt, so go challenge. But I think he should go to 147. I would have loved to see a Ryan Garcia Teofimo Lopez fight, but he can't make 140, 147, or it could be a catch weight. I feel like they could do that, but ultimately Ryan Garcia go to 147. I feel like he can be successful, man. But Ryan Garcia at this point in his career, the money he's making, he can just make money fights now. He's fought Devin Haney and Tank Davis, two of the best in the world. Just continue to fight the best, man, and build that legacy at this point, man. Because you got that loss on your record because you were a warrior and stepped in with Tank Davis, even though you were at a disadvantage, man. Just continue to be great, Ryan Garcia. But these are my opinions on the fight. I feel like it was a draw, in my opinion. But either way you had it, man, Ryan Garcia won that fight. He deserves it. True champion. Well, I can't say champion because the belts wasn't on the line, but we'll see what happens from here. The next fight we got is Canelo Alvarez on May 4th. I will be doing a review for that fight. I tried to get a review out for this fight, but I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna do a post fight. So yeah. If you guys liked it, let me know your thoughts on the fight. What did you think of Ryan Garcia's performance? Did you think he was gonna win? Because I know a lot of guys won a lot of money last night if they bet on Ryan Garcia because the odds were so low. Let me this. I know a lot of guys from the Haney Tank video thought this opinion on Haney, but let me know what you guys think of Devin Haney's performance. Will he bounce back? Because you guys gotta think, Devin Haney is an undisputed champion at 140. He's done a lot in the game of boxing. Beat Kambosos twice, gets beaten Lomachenko, beat Regis Prograis at only 25 years old, man. So, the future is still bright. He has things to work on, but the future is still bright. So what do you guys think is next from here? And for Ryan Garcia as well. And what are some fights you want to see these guys do in the future? Will you guys be open to seeing a rematch? But yeah, step backs and touchdowns. We out.